seeing you come home, Tony. So, brother, that is beautiful. That's what beautiful is. Oh, and now I'm going to pivot a little from what is beautiful and the beautiful moment that we just shared together to what I've been thinking about to prepare for tonight, which is about the nature of the mind and what the mind is all about, and the fact that the mind is a tool, an excellent tool for keeping us alive. And that's really has been its main function for throughout millennia. It keeps us alive. It looks around, it susses out what is happening to the best of its ability based on all the information it's ever had. And it does a pretty good job of keeping us alive. But it's usually, I could say always, deeply delusional, deeply delusional. Because we think we know what's going on. I think I know what's going on. And of course, I never do. I never, ever know what's happening. And I think that's such a good thing to remember and keep in the forefront. Like, I don't even know myself because there's this huge unconscious mind, an old unconscious area of myself that's causing me to respond in ways I don't know why. It's unconscious by very definition. I don't know what's going on in that whole vast area of my unconscious. I'm in an empty room now except for me and my dog and cat, and there's all sorts of things going on in here. There's radio waves going through, from what I understand. I don't know. There's possibly other dimensions, I'm told, by quantum physics and by the practice, that there are possible realms happening right here. There's air moving. There's all sorts of chemical reactions. I get the feeling that the chair I'm sitting on is solid, but of course I understand that it's not really. Everything's moving, everything is atoms, everything is interconnected everywhere, and I have no idea what's happening. And that's scary, but also refreshing. It's when we talk about beginner's mind, there it is right there. To be confident of the one thing you do know is that you don't know much of anything at all. We had Brother David come and visit a while back, and he said it was like we know as much as looking through a cocktail straw. That's how much we know what's happening at any given moment. And that is a sweet space to be in when you can reach it. It is the true beginner's mind. It's the moment that Jill, you were talking about, and Barb, you were talking about, when you walk around with a puppy or a baby. Everything is fresh and new. They have no assumptions. They have no certainty. They're just sponges. And that's, the practice that I think we should all try and bring into our lives as much as possible, because we don't know what's happening, and in a way that's wonderful. And when we're sure we know, we're missing all sorts of things, all sorts of opportunities, all sorts of moments, so because we're so busy being sure. And that sureness just almost never helps and almost always hurts ourselves and those around us. And that's often wrong. You know, I can take myself through a moment. I'll think, I'm really angry. I am, I am pissed off at this person over here. But really, if I take it deeper, I'm actually hurt or ashamed or a million other words. I might not even have the vocabulary for what I'm feeling. So even when we think we know what we're feeling, we don't know. We don't know for sure. So that's something to hold everything so lightly, everything, this feeling of not knowing. And I was reading Thich Nhat Hanh, and he was talking about the Dharma seals. And he said that all, I'm going to read this because I don't want to get it wrong because it's kind of complex. All authentic practices of the Buddha carry with them three essential teachings called the Dharma seals. These three teachings of the Buddha are impermanence, no self, and nirvana. If we look into the first Dharma seal, impermanence, we see that it doesn't just mean that everything changes. By looking into the nature of things, we can see that nothing remains, even for 2 consecutive moments. Nothing remains, even for 2 consecutive moments. And because nothing, no thing, remains unchanged from moment to moment, it therefore has no fixed identity or permanent self. So in the teaching of impermanence, we always see the lack of an unchanging self. We call this no self. The second Dharma seal. It's because things are always transforming and having no self that freedom is possible. What? So no self. We are also the river that you can't step into twice. I am not the same Nancy that I was when I turned on this Zoom. Of course I'm not. I listened to all the things you said. I watched Tony come into the room and had my heart opened by that. I am not the same person. I have learned something from Pam and Deborah about them and about our system just in these moments. I'm always changing. I am not the same person. There is no permanent Nancy, no self. There is no self. And then, get ready for minds blown. The third Dharma seal is nirvana. This means solidity and freedom. Freedom from all ideas and notions. The word nirvana literally means the extinction of all concepts, including the concept of nirvana. Looking deeply into impermanence leads to the discovery of no self, and the discovery of no self leads to nirvana. Nirvana is the kingdom of God. So that's the attempt, that's the work, that's the practice, is not to intellectualize this idea of no self and impermanence and arriving at nirvana. It's a practice. It's a continual practice of realizing that everything is changing all the time, that there's nothing solid, that everything, in fact, is interchangeable because we're all affecting each other as humans and as animals and as nature. None of us are the same because of all the things we were just talking about. We're always changing because the subject and the object are affecting each other. The huge interchangeability, the interconnection of what it is to be alive in this human realm. So that's a whole lot. And I'm going to bring it around all the way back to thinking about what we're feeling at any given time and how often we have certain emotions or physical sensations or feelings that we think of as negative, and we often try to resist them. But the things that we resist persist. And today we're going to look at them in a little different way. So we're going to do this in a meditation exercise that's connected to letting go of our ideas about what's going on and what we're feeling and what we've just been through. So I invite us all, what we're going to do is work with these parts of ourselves that are constricted, that we think of as negative, and we're going to hold them in love and in awareness so that they're not controlling us and leading us around by the nose anymore. So friends, I invite you to sit back, take your whatever seat you like to take, or lie down, stand up, sit down, whatever's good for you. And close your eyes. Feel free to turn off your screens, whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. And when you close your eyes, I invite you to feel into the vastness. Into the emptiness, the spaciousness, the formlessness, the place from which everything is manifested. Feel the unending nature of this divine space, filled with peace and with love and pure awareness. It's unbound by our physical bodies. It is boundless. Feel that you are this space without boundaries, without beginning or end. Breathe into it. Sit with it. The boundless nature, which is you. And now I invite you to think of a situation or a memory of something that you have dealt with that triggered you. And nothing too big. Please don't go to your core wound here today. Just to something that triggered you in some way and gave you a big feeling. and notice what comes up physically. What does it feel like in your body? Where is it? Is it constricting? Is it tight? Is it pounding? And then notice that this energy is in your infinite space. And disconnect from the story and the people involved and in the memory. And remember that the other people and the situation are mere triggers. And the issue is unresolved in us. And we need to take responsibility ourselves for what arises in us. So disconnect from the thoughts and the story and just feel the raw energy. And think of it as a feeling that wants your love and care. And notice that this energy is being held right now by the infinite space of your being. We've resisted these emotions and denied them, but right now we're going to care for them and love them. And notice that we are the space, the infinite space, holding this raw energy. And if thoughts arise, just bring yourself back to being the space. Be the space. Then feel into the constricted energy. Then be the awareness, the infinite awareness, and the tenderness that's holding it. Be the space. Be the space. Then take a moment to revisit your story, the situation, the people. Remember what your story is, and then disconnect from it once more. Connecting simply to the raw, constricted energy. And then move to being the space around the energy. The loving space holding the energy. You're no longer resisting it. You're the space, the tenderness, the care, the awareness holding this energy, just as a loving parent would a small child. And then notice that this infinite space was already holding the energy without judgment and with tenderness before you even became aware of it. So all you're doing is being aware that the space has no problems with these feelings, no judgment. In fact, it loves it, and it's always holding it. Sink in through the beautiful, boundless space, which is pure love, and which is infinite. And slowly, slowly, take your time to begin to come back into your bodies, leaving the infinite, meeting the finite. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your seat in the chair. Feel your hands on your lap. And slowly come back into the space here with our brothers and sisters. And when you're ready, turn on your camera and join the sangha.